Let's face it, running your own interior design business can feel overwhelming. But guess what? You don't have to do it alone. I am so excited to introduce a brand new way to get the support you need. One-on-one mentorship with me, Laura Thornton, your interior design bestie. In just one focused hour, we'll dive into whatever you need most, whether that's pricing strategies, client management, presentations, attracting clients, building up a repeat business, or just getting out of the hamster wheel. You'll get clarity, strategy, and expert advice based on my 28 years of running a thriving business and over the last decade, a seven-figure design firm. This is your chance to get real answers to the questions you've been dying to ask from someone who's actually been there and is currently still walking the walk. Book your session as you need it. There are no strings attached. You'll walk away with personalized, actionable advice that you can implement right away. One-on-one, 1-hour sessions as you need it. Head to the website or click the link in the show notes to book your mentorship session, and let's build a beautiful, profitable business that you've been dreaming of together. Welcome back to the Business of Beautiful Spaces. Today, we are going to talk about one of the most timeless, luxurious, and sometimes intimidating materials in design, natural stone. For many designers, stone can feel like a very big decision. There are slabs to select, there are finishes to understand, fabrication details to consider, budgets to manage, and client expectations to navigate. But when you have the right expert guiding you, natural stone becomes one of the most powerful ways to bring character, artistry, and lasting beauty into a space. My guest today is Massimo Ferrera. He is the account manager and stone master at Cava Surfaces here in Toronto. Massimo brings over 27 years of experience in marble sourcing, stone selection, and fabrication, making him an incredible source for designers who want to feel more comfortable and confident using stone in their projects. Now, Cava Surfaces is one of Canada's premier suppliers of exquisite stone slabs, with a showroom located in our Toronto's design district. Their collection includes natural stone, engineered stone, porcelain, marble, quartzite, travertine, limestone, granite, and the list goes on. All curated with the focus on quality, beauty, and exceptional service. So their philosophy is about making the process of finding the perfect stone easy, enjoyable, which is exactly what we want to unpack today so that you can start introducing natural stone into your interior designs. So in this conversation, Massimo is going to help us demystify the process of working with natural stone. And we're going to talk about where us designers can begin and what questions we ask before falling in love with that slab, how to guide our clients through selection, and how to avoid some of the most common mistakes before fabrication begins. We're also going to explore how designers can think beyond the countertops and the use of stone on fireplace showers, floors, backsplashes, and all kinds of other ways and statements that can become truly memorable in your interior design. So whether you're newer to specifying stone or you already love using it and want to refine your process, this episode is going to help you feel more informed, more prepared, and more excited to bring natural stone into your designs. All right, let's jump in. I'm very excited to welcome Massimo Ferrera from Cava Surfaces to the show. Welcome to the Business of Beautiful Spaces, a podcast that's specifically for interior designers and decorators. This is the podcast for designers and decorators who love creating beautiful spaces, but also know that building a profitable business, it what makes it all sustainable. Hi, I'm Laura Thornton, and after nearly 30 years in the interior design industry and building a seven-figure design firm, I know firsthand how lonely it can feel running your own business. Making big decisions without a boardroom, without a business partner, or another executive team member to walk things through. That's exactly why this podcast exists. Think of me as your interior design bestie, the place you come for honest conversations, real action items, and a clear to-do list that you can apply today to move the needle forward and improve your bottom line. And if you can't get the answers you're looking for here, one-on-one mentorship with me is always available because no designer and decorator should have to figure this out alone. My goal with every episode is simple: to help you build a more profitable, confident design business and propel you into sustainable, successful future. So let's dive in. Welcome back to another episode of the Business of Beautiful Spaces. Thank you, Massimo, for joining me today. I'm very excited to have this conversation.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So I'm excited because I am so happy that the shift has come back to natural stone, that people are finally feeling like, you know what, everybody has the quartz and nothing's wrong with that. but people are back to embracing the beauty of Mother Nature. So I'm excited today to have this conversation. Can you start off by telling us how you got into this industry?
Uh, Complete fluke. My uncle was good friends with a marble shop owner, or actually, sorry, at the time, a tile company owner, and he needed a summer job. I needed a summer job, and he needed some help. So I started helping him delivering and moving tiles and honing in the days when we used muriatic acid to hone tiles, which thank God we don't do anymore. And honestly, I just never left. After about 2 years, he opened up a company called Marble and Marble, which is actually where me and you met. And
Hmm.
I was there for 23 years in the fabrication end of it. And then just recently, about four, almost 4 years, it'll be 4 years in October, 3.5 years that I've been here at Cava Surfaces on the selling of the natural stone slab side.
Yeah. And that's in Toronto
It is
for
in
anyone
Toronto,
listening,
Ontario, Canada.
and
Yes.
also breaking into the US at the current time
We
as well.
are going to be opening up an office in Boca Raton, Florida, which should be open late summer, early fall.
Yeah, what a terrible location to have to
I
visit
know,
when you
warm
live in
weather.
Canada. Oh, a palm tree, come on. Especially
Yeah,
when we still are struggling to get spring started here in Ontario. So
exactly.
I say that jokingly for anyone listening because it sounds like a dream. Okay, so I wanted to have this conversation with you today because we had recently had an event at your showroom to see all
Yes,
the incredible things that you can do with stone that I think is intimidating for probably many, many designers. And so I asked you to be a guest and talk about this because I feel like if people realized how easy it is to work with a crew like yourselves and the knowledge that you have, I think it would eliminate that intimidation. So I wanted to ask you right off the top. You deal with designers every single day. This is
I
this is
do.
exactly your wheelhouse. What is
Love
the
it.
biggest misconceptions that we arrive with and are myth bust right away?
Oh, wow. Big question to start. Okay.
Okay. Well,
Um,
can I lead it a little bit in a way
Please.
that I think so I think people are intimidated because they don't know what stone can go where and
Yes.
what stone would have longevity and their clients won't have staining and it's lack of, we know a lot about a lot of things, but I don't know if a lot of us know a lot about what stone can go where.
That's actually probably my very first question to both the designer and the client, as to has anybody given them the information with regards to marble on a kitchen counter? Some people are completely fine with it. The patina, the etching, the scratching, it for them, for some people, it's just natural. It's the way it is. It's what marble is, and they're fine with it. And they're, I don't want to say that word, but fastidious as some. So, uh,
Hmm.
but if that is a concern, if someone wants something a little bit more durable, then now, thank goodness, the amount of quartzite that is coming out that is much, much more durable, much easier to maintain, and a lot of them have a very soft, almost marble look to them. So you get that marble feel, but you get the durability of, let's say, a granite or something like that. Um, but there are still maintenance needs that need to be met, even with quartzes, with technically all natural stone. All natural stone is porous. Porosity is a given. However, there are different densities and different types of porous nature to certain stones. They're not all equal. So even within quartzites, the family is quite large. There's some younger quartzites, and when I say young and old, I'm talking millions of years. So
Hmm.
precious heat further down on under the stone, like as they're mining down, it gets harder. And it becomes a lot less porous. Still porous. So with quartzite, the only real maintenance is sealing. And sealing is a ridiculously easy process. Fabricator takes care of it when they install it. But once a year, once every 2 years, depending on how hard the stone is, you pour the sealer on, you spread it with your hand, let it sit for a few minutes to absorb, clean it off. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only maintenance. So I start there, going back to the original question. I start there. When I give that information to customers, now they can sort of determine, and we can, as you've seen when you were here during for the event, our warehouse is decent size. So we actually we separated our warehouse. So quartzits are all on one end with granites, and then marbles are the rest of the warehouse. So this way, if someone says, no, I don't want to deal with any of that maintenance issue, we stay on the quartzite side. And then we go through that and I give them the information with regards to how hard or soft, what maintenance is involved in some stones versus others, and we go from there.
All right, quick pause, because if you've been telling yourself that you're going to figure out AI when things slow down in your business, you need to hear this. Things are not slowing down. And if you felt that low key pressure like you're falling behind, it's not because you're not capable. It's because you're super busy running your real design business and you don't have time to become the tech person that you think it requires to keep up. So here's the good news. You don't have to understand everything AI can do. You just need a clear starting point, one that begins at the very beginning and walks you through step by step in a way that makes sense for interior designers. And that is exactly why I created the AI ChatGPT Made Simple and the Claude Made Simple guides. These are practical, no overwhelm guides designed for interior designers who want to start using AI confidently and without getting lost in jargon or random tips that we all get through social media. And when I say from the beginning, I really mean it. We start with the basics like words, chat, the GPTs, chatbots, LLMs. What do these actually mean? So you can feel grounded instead of confused. Then we walk you through step by step how to create your own role-based AI assistants for your business so you can build the support that you wished you've had for decades. Think a client communication assistant, a studio manager, a marketing coordinator, a project support helper, the roles you need most. And to make it easy, I've included plug and play prompts, simple checklists, and oh, I didn't even know I needed that, assistance for the things that eat up your time each and every week. So here's what happens when you have a plan like this. It gets so easy, you'll honestly wish you had done it sooner. I'll have one guide for ChatGPT and one guide for Claude. So you can start today with whichever tool you feel more comfortable with. And once you're comfortable, there's also a part 2 to the guide that shows you how to go deeper so you can unlock real time savings, real efficiencies, and business changing workflows that make you wonder how you ever ran your design studio without it. And guess what? Each guide is only $27. That's it. And I'll say it plainly. It will pay for itself within the first week you start implementing AI in your business. It'll pay for itself in the first hour of you using AI in your business. So if you're done feeling behind and you're ready for clear, designer-friendly starting line, grab AI Made Simple for ChatGPT or Claude Made Simple and start building your AI team. The link will be in the show notes. Don't bookmark it and forget it. Start now. Get your time back. All right, back to the episode. So I can picture designers listening right now thinking, okay, that's great, but how do I know how that falls? Like, meaning budget wise, right? So,
Yes.
they're worried about showing or having a client come on a tour of all the beautiful slabs and they fall in love with something that isn't in their budget. And then it feels like the designer has skewed them away. Now, I'm a little different. I want them to fall in love with all the things and then we'll deal with that in another way. But if somebody called you ahead of time and said, this is where we're at, this is where we need to be budget wise, having a preferred vendor like yourself, you would be able to skew them away or be able to say, this would be because we don't talk price on the floor. Like, just so anyone listening, if you haven't been in before, I will never ask you in front of anybody, how much will this one cost me? Right. But if you know the range of where we need to be, then it's very easy to say this one tends to be on the higher scale of things. So if someone falls in love with it and they're willing to still pay the difference, that's a whole other story. But if they called you ahead of time, you would be able to skew to where budget fits.
And so all quartzits, there's no quartzits are a certain price, marble are a certain price, granites are a certain price. Within each family, there are $2,000 slabs, there are $20,000. Sure. And literally everywhere in between. So yes, that's exactly what I prefer. Most of my designers will actually do that. They'll give me an idea for budget so that we know, because one or two slabs, okay, maybe an $8,000-$10,000 slab is fine because they want something a little bit unique, interesting. And then sometimes they need 5, 6, 7 slabs. At those high prices, now we're adding numbers that maybe is ridiculously out of the budget. So then, yes, I focus them towards still what, because also a designer won't just give me a budget, they'll give me an idea for what they're looking for, shades, colors, patterns, so that I can show them within those budgets.
Hmm.
This, look at this, look at this. Um, However, unfortunately, a lot of the time, as you know, you come into our warehouse and people see things and go, "Oh my God, that is stunning." So I do give people an idea. I don't give them an actual number, but I give them an idea that, okay, this is on the higher end. We'd have to discuss budget to make sure that this work, just because I know that you need 6 slabs, blah, blah, blah. But one of my biggest pet peeves when I was at Marble in fabrication is client would come to me and I'd give them a price because the fabricator supplier has given me the price of the material. I've given them a full quote, including the stone, but they are like, "Are you kidding me? Why is it so high?" Well, the material's a little bit more expensive. The fabrication cost is what it is. And sometimes they've asked me to separate them, and I have, but the fabricator is sort of the end guy. He's the one who gives the numbers, but you pick the slabs. So giving a client an idea while they're in the building to say, this is on, on a higher price range. I don't know what the budget is, but if they give me an idea for budget, then they're here. They're in the building. They can say, "Oh God, I don't, that's a little out of my price range. Let's look at something else." Whereas once they've gone to the fabricator, they've left the supplier, they've gone home, could be a week or two later, and now they have to come all the way back and reselect, even though
Reselect.
they've fallen in love with a
Yeah.
particular stone. So yes. Now, even let's say something like a cristallo, beautiful stone, incredibly hard, and for the most part on the higher range. But we have 4 or 5 different blocks of cristallo in stock at the moment, all very different in price. So if they like cristallo and they're okay with a little bit more veining and pattern, which generally is the whiter it is, the more expensive it is, the more busy it is, less expensive it is. Then maybe the lower, if they're okay with the veining and they still want that material, then I can show them the less expensive one. So I
So what I'm
try
hearing is there is a price point for everybody. Don't be afraid.
absolutely
Don't be
100%.
afraid. Yeah. So
No,
when
no.
a designer would come in and meet with you for the first time
Mhm.
and see all the beautiful things, then they would be able to forward you. I'm just gonna maybe walk through the process, or maybe you should tell me the process instead of me assuming, but send you the drawings, tell you what our budget is, when can we walk through with our clients, and then it sounds like to me you will skew us to where we can get into budget as close as possible. And if the client's willing to go higher, great. But then also with the caveat of make sure you're allowing for fabrication. And then there's multiple things
Yes.
to consider there.
Yes. Sometimes people will have that question. And yes, absolutely. You're simply looking at material and material only. Someone still needs to, I deliver to anyone from all of North America. And it's just a matter of you're buying the slabs. Generally, 99% of the time, it's the fabricators that buy slabs. They quote you for the whole job. So, yes, you definitely have to add fabrication, installation, measuring, all of that stuff separate to what you're looking at here in our place.
Okay, so we have designers who are now thinking, I'm gonna find my local vendor if it's not you. What
Will
should they
be.
walk in? I hope it's you. I hope it's you because they will be wowed and they will have a beautiful product. I hope it's you, but maybe they're not close to Toronto, just argument's sake. Maybe they
All
are. So
right.
let's pretend they're coming to see you. What would you recommend should be the 3 questions that they should come in hand? Now they've gotten over the nerves of showing up somewhere. What 3 questions should they come to you with to ensure that they are feeling that they've got the right amount of information to move forward with a not with feeling confident to bring a client into the space?
Maintenance, because actually I've been binging a bunch of your podcasts since I knew I was coming on. And one of the things you mentioned is giving customers information that they need to know for their everyday use, getting to know them as a family, what they like to eat, how often do they eat at home, do they entertain often, do they have pets? Like you actually mentioned that getting to know the client is very, very important to your design work. So you know how to make the design fit to their everyday needs as well as their aesthetic. Same thing applies to the stone. If they're going to be really entertaining and cooking quite a bit and use a lot of different spices, then you need to know that a marble will onyx marble, anything that's a little bit softer, limestones, they're going to have a lot more maintenance. Not necessarily a no. I've done many, many kitchens in marbles, but they just need to know that information. So that's number one. They need so that can determine where they go from once they come through the doors. Where do we go? We don't go to the marbles because they don't want a maintenance issue. That's one. Um, Two, of course, is budget. We just discussed both those items. What would be a third? I guess.
Well,
Oh,
I think the client was one of them. One was client, that equals maintenance, that equals budget.
yeah.
That I think you covered it, unless you do have another one. You saw it was like a light bulb there. You had a moment.
No, absolutely. Actually, I was just thinking one thing that happens when people come in here is they're astounded by the amount of selection.
Mhm.
They come in with a set mindset as to what they want, something plain, white, simple, and we have that. That's also a durable product that'll still give them that look. But also the idea that when you come in here, we have very unique blocks of material. We have some of them more like we have Taj Mahal or we have Bianco Carrera, we have the staples, but we also have materials that are ridiculously exotic looking because some people just, you look at these slabs and they're pieces of art. Some people want that on their kitchen. So we allow for that. And that doesn't necessarily mean budget becomes much higher because that's not exactly the case. We try and get the best prices on everything that we purchase. Some of the materials that are a little bit more quote unquote exotic are still budget friendly. So yeah, the aesthetic that the client wants from something plain, because as a supplier, or sorry, I should say this is more personal than just a supplier. Me as Massimo, I love the unique. I love the interesting. I love the beautiful. Something I've never seen before. I've done this for 27 years now. I love that stone that comes through the door is that like, wow, I've never seen anything like that. For me, that's where I strike.
Mhm.
Love that. And customers sometimes feel the same way. So, but I also know that designers have a design in mind in some of these stones. So a client, if they're not coming with a designer, it's overwhelming, ridiculously overwhelming. If they're coming with a designer, you guys usually have a plan. So you have something in mind. And that's not to say that a good designer like yourself, if someone says, I want something like our oyster or our Carnival Monet, which are beautiful and very, very busy, you can work around it. You can redesign if the cabinets haven't been made yet. You can redo staining, floors, everything else that you have around the room, fireplace on the other side of the room. Like you can design around it. But a lot of the time, you've already given the client this is sort of the idea of what you want. Are you okay with it? Yes. Okay, this is what we're going to be focusing on. Something a little bit simpler, so a little bit plainer. But it happens often that people will come in here and change their mind when they start saying, "Wow, okay, there's
Mhm.
art involved in picking a magic."
Totally. And they will blow their budget to have the items.
Yeah.
It's happened to me many of times.
Yeah.
So because you and your team at Cava are like the caveat of all caveats here in Toronto, but
I think so.
if someone if yes, and if somebody well, you've built a reputation and design you are designers flock to you. If somebody then can't get access to you, let's say, you've given us things that come with like with the maintenance and the knowing your client and budget. Those are all great items because we know that the quality is there. If someone was walking in somewhere else, what should they look for to know that it's a quality shop with quality product? Like yours is so obvious just on showroom and product availability, but what would be a red flag runaway? I guess is the kind of what I'm really asking. I was trying to do it really politely, but really, let's just cut. What would be a red flag?
They were
Walk in the
shitting on everybody
door.
else in the
Do
industry.
not
Okay.
bring your client here. Like this is what you should look for, and run the other way because it's going to be a nightmare. No one
Honestly,
needs that vendor in their life.
unfortunately, there are
I
those. You're
know.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Um, for the most part, some of the bigger names, the people that I'm not going to mention any of them, but you know them.
No, you don't need to.
They've been
But what
around
would be a
forever.
red flag? Yeah.
But honestly, my biggest thing, we've created a team. Joe Branca, the owner here at Cava, he's sort of curated our team to bring sort of the best of the best. And I know that I'm patting ourselves on the back, but it's really true. We all have background in the industry in so many different forms. So when you go into a place, whether you're with a designer or not, the person that's showing you around, if they're a natural stone supplier, they really should know the ins and outs of natural stone. Not necessarily, okay, I'm a little different because I actually put my hands on the stone. I fabricated it. I was technically a salesperson, but I actually fabricated a lot of projects just because you get bored in the office and you want to do something different. So I went into the back, I grabbed a job and I started working on them. Once in a while I would do that. But I did cut on the saws quite often whenever someone was sick. So I did have that hands-on experience. So I'm a little different in that respect, but I still know a lot about stone, even if it wasn't just for that. I've been doing this a long time. So walking in and having someone show you around and be able to answer the questions that you have, simple questions, hard questions, whatever the question is, the person showing you that slab that you want to buy should have the answer, all of them. If they don't, 100% run out the door. There's a
Yep.
reason for that. Like I don't know why that person is in that position. They shouldn't be. You should have someone there who knows what they're doing. So knowledge, 100%, number one. Um, I find it. I actually had this conversation with my wife last night. We were discussing our upcoming podcast, and I was talking about how simple it is to sell. It's not that difficult. Sales is know your product and be nice. It's literally that simple. I mean, I've had customers, designers come in and say, I could not stay at that place any longer. That person was rude,
You're
dismissed.
making it sound like it's so easy.
It
That is
is.
you. I know you think that, but you are really selling yourself short. Your knowledge is immense, and you just take it for granted because you have been doing this for so long. So here I'm gonna toot your horn, and I'm no one can see me, but I'm doing the toot toot with my hand because you just know your stuff. So it comes off as being easy. And okay, the slabs are spectacular, so I understand what you're saying, and you fall in love with it, you want it, but it also your knowledge shows up in other ways. So I'm sorry that I cut you off, but I don't want you to like demean this because I know many a times I would like something and you would say, Laura, this is not the right fit for what you want it to be.
Yes.
This will chip. This is going, and you very quickly would skew me away from something I was in love with
Depending on the
because
use, 100%. I'll be honest with that.
Totally. Like I can't wish I could pull one. But like I know we were doing a table one time and you said this will be a nightmare. If knives fall on this, it's going to chip and it'll flake and then you're not sealed. And so you went through, but really quickly. So we walked away, didn't fall in love. So if I come with to you with what I'm doing and the client and know all the
Yes.
you know it, you don't think about the fact that you have all that education and then you educate us so that we look like rock stars to our clients. We don't have callbacks in a year or 6 months after because
Yes.
we didn't educate ourselves on the stone, and then we can educate our clients. Like there's so much more, and I know you think it's real simple, but really you come with so much knowledge and you give confidence to the designers and to the clients if we bring them to the shop that don't sell yourself short because yes, the products are beautiful, but you have a big hand in making sure that we all know what we're buying and educating us on all of that
You're a
knowledge.
sweetheart for saying all those wonderful things. Thank you. I, and when I said that it's easy, I really do believe it.
I
Um,
do believe you believe it, but it comes with more.
um, I, yes, you're absolutely right. I do know my stuff. I've been doing this for a long time, and because of that, I do have the answer. Whatever the question is with regards to natural stone and only natural stone, I can give you pretty much the answer to it. Um, but you said earlier, um, uh, so designers. I mentioned this when we were off camera. You guys have to know a lot. You guys have to know a lot about every single part of the process, especially if you're doing a full job, full service design, from digging the hole in the ground, dealing with the builder, to putting that last pillow on the couch. So you are not supposed to know a million things about every single thing. You know a little bit about all of it. That's your job. You have to. And those like yourself that are really good at what they do know a lot about all of the things. But when you come to a place like us, you don't have to know everything there is to know about stone. You will pick it up over time because you come to visit me often, and I'll give you all that information almost every single time that you bring a client in. So you start to pick all of that up, and that becomes your sort of wealth of knowledge as well. But to my detriment sometimes, I will give all of the information. It sometimes means I lose the sale. But like you said earlier, I'd rather lose the sale by giving the right information to have them make an educated decision versus trying to get the sale and then having them call me a month or a year down the road going, what the hell did you sell me? This was a horrible decision. I shouldn't have done this. If I tell them marble is going to etch and scratch and actually give them a sample to take home and do their worst to, or show them right here what a lemon can do to marble, then they can be like, I really don't want to deal with that. Or, you know what? I don't care. Everyone in Europe has marble kitchens. So what's the difference? Like they deal with it. What's the problem here? But I'd rather give all of that information out so that the client has it.
Right. And again, that's confidence, right? You're building confidence in for the designer and for the client, because none of us want to get a call back from a client who's not happy and have a
Of
warranty
course.
issue or have like a callback. So I respect that greatly. And again, I think the knowledge and the education and like to your point, like we do have to know a lot of information. And how many times I've walked into a new client's home and they've done some things on their own, and I go to touch the fireplace and it's porcelain or it's quartz, and they did not do the non-combustible, the heat's reaping through the stone, like didn't know how to apply it properly and just thought that this all worked, right? So there's a reason for all of our roles in in construction. But I know before
I'm sorry,
we
just to cut you off for one
yeah,
second.
yeah.
What you just said is exactly right. You know, because you've been doing this for so long, it's not something you should know, but because you're good at what you do know. You don't put quartz on a gas fireplace because
Yeah,
quartz will melt. There's a ways to get
totally.
around it, but
Yeah.
quartz, the way usually fireplaces are built, you do not put quartz on a fireplace because it will get damaged.
Yeah, I mean, and like again, I know we're off topic, but there are manuals that'll show you how many inches around it need to be. Anyway,
Yes.
but like there's so many people who don't know that, and so this is the mistakes that can happen, and that can burn a house down, like your liability is on fire, literally. I did lose my. What was I going to say to you
I'm
about that?
sorry.
But oh no, oh I know what I wanted to say before we started talking and hit record. I love that we were talking about the new uses that we're seeing stone, like the integrated sinks and like fireplaces have been happening now for a long time. What else are you seeing in the industry? Like what are you seeing that's new and different that it's being used for? Because the integrated sink is coming full circle again. We're starting to see it more
Yes.
and more and more. Is there anything else that you're seeing as a trend that is becoming more common or becoming something that it's used more often?
You're right. We're trying to sort of expand people's minds or ideas of what you can do with natural stone. I mentioned we were going to be in Florida at the end of the year, and the reason why we're making that move is we've been selling quite a bit. So we've done three shows, three design, the Living Lux Design Show here in Toronto, and we did BDNY in New York, and we did KBIS in Florida. And again, to toot my own horn, we won at all three of them multiple
I know I
times.
was there. I saw it. I was at the
So,
awards show. Yeah.
and we're very, very happy, of course.
And
But
well deserved. Well deserved.
again,
Yeah.
yeah, it was an incredible achievement. But we did work our butts off. The design of the booth was done beautifully by Sherry Stewart Design. She's a wonderful designer, but she, we also made sure that what we put in the booth wasn't just for show. We wanted to show that you can use stone. We had a couch, or sorry, what's called chaise lounge to that was made out of stone. We had a full curved couch out of stone. We had an armoire out of stone. We had a salt block
You're freezing.
tub in this particular show.
So are
We
you cut
good?
out and turned into a robot?
We're
So
right.
we heard about the
No.
chaise lounge and now you're breaking up and frozen on the screen.
Okay, so we had stone couch, curved couch, we had a stone dresser, we had a stone tub, a solid stone tub, which we're actually selling a few of them now. We
Oh
also
wow.
had uh, in this last show, although we had an absolutely beautiful bar all in stone, huge island back bar. We also had a solid stone, beautifully carved Harley Davidson motorcycle, which was
Yeah, I know.
so
It was
perfectly
wild.
done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's sort of expanding people's sort of minds to be like, I can do stone in so many ways, not just a countertop. I can do it. So if you wanted, let's say a powder room that's a little bit bolder, we can bring in a block from Italy out of any color you want and carved into it with chiseled edges along the front. We can make things pretty much if you could design it, we can have it built.
Yeah.
And in any color that would work with the design that you figured out. So that's sort of what we try to strive here at Cava to let people know that natural stone it's not just for counters, it's for anything you could possibly think of. So
Yeah.
we're starting to follow, we're trying to lead the trends towards those kinds of things. So that people like when you guys are working on a project and someone's saying, you know what, I would really like something, and they just throw out an idea, and you're like, yeah, I can do that. We can do a block of stone because that's the only way to do what they're looking at. You can do integrated sinks, there's seams, there's miters. Veining isn't perfect, but if a client wants an absolute perfectly carved vein match everything, the block, I can do it. And we've sold actually quite a few of them brought in from Italy. So we have connections with quarries all over the world to be able to source any stone you'd need, and we can have it made. So that's I'm starting to see that a lot more often. I'm starting to see trends moving towards that, sort of the more custom and interesting things. Yes, unfortunately, the budget does jump a little bit.
And in
Uh,
my head, I'm like, that sounds cheap. The whole
yeah,
block from Italy.
yeah. But I mean,
Yeah.
depending on what you're
It's
asking
the
for,
knowing what you can do. Sure.
if you're
And
looking for a
clients show up.
vanity, a small vanity for a powder room, you're not talking about a lot. You're talking about 3 to 5 grand. If you're looking for a solid stone tub, yes, you're looking at 65,000. So
Woo!
yeah,
I
it's
want that client. That's the client I want.
exactly. So it's not impossible, but yes, we have, and it also depends on what stone. The stone we have in our showroom,
Of
yes, it's
course.
$65,000 stone, but it's a cut. It's a beautiful, beautiful, expensive block. You want something a little less expensive in a Carrera, let's say, we can be a little bit more cost effective, or a lot more cost effective, actually. So it depends on what you like as well.
Fair. I don't want to scare anybody away either. That's not the norm for the average designer walking in. We're talking kitchens, bathrooms, transoms. We're right, like we're tables, walls, fireplaces, the more traditional things.
Yeah.
So let's walk through what would be the process if somebody wanted to reach out to you and start working with you as their preferred vendor. Can you walk me through the process of what that looks like when the designer has a concept and they're now going to come? What's the steps that need to happen?
Um, so I don't just sort of show you material and leave you to your own devices. I try to give you sort of the full package as much as possible. So when you send me designs with renderings that have a certain color that you maybe sort of grabbed off of the internet, stone might we don't have the stone in stock. We can get it. So we try to sort of give you anything and everything you can possibly ask for. So I will obviously, because of my background, I'll also look at your drawings and I can get a pretty good, I mean, I did it for 23 years, so I can give you a pretty good idea of how many slabs you'll need for a project so that when you are working on the budget, now you know I need 4 slabs, I need 5 slabs, I need 2 slabs, so that you can sort of play with that budget and give you an idea for pricing so that it's a little easier. If you have no idea, if a designer's doing a drawing but doesn't really know how much they need, and a lot of times you can't until you select a slab because different sizes of slabs, but also trying to find the slab that fits. I've in my fabrication days, I seamed an island many, many times because the slab they found is just too short to make it in one piece. Um, Preferably, I always liked making it in one piece.
Mhm.
I mean,
Same.
you get to 9 feet, no problem. 10 feet, you still got quite a bit of option. 11 feet, you start to eliminate a lot of material because the materials don't generally come that long. 12 feet, near impossible.
Yeah.
There's 1 or 2 slabs in the building that'll reach 12 feet at the
Right.
moment.
Yeah.
So that's also determined by that. So when a designer is working on that, they sometimes will call me and say, "Hey, this is the idea for an island. This is the size. What do you have? And send them options at the size they requested. That way they can sort of work the design backwards from there. Or they'll be like, none of those are good. I want something a little bit different. Then the design might change, and you guys might go to a 10-foot island or 10.5-foot island to make other materials work. So
Right.
I try to sort of bring it more than just slab selection, but try and help the designers work with what the concept is, as well as what we have to offer in regards to the materials, not just size, but type of material as well. So the relationships that I make, and that's the other thing, I try to, we're sort of focusing on the design firm, design teams, mark architects, builders, people who are making those final calls as to what stones are selecting. And we don't just, we're not just the supplier. We literally become very, very close friends. The two of us have known each other for a very long time. It
Couple of
doesn't just,
decades. Yeah.
yeah,
Scary. Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
it's not dangerous. But it's what it takes. Like, I don't want to just have a client. I want to have a partner in this, because I want to make sure that I do everything I can to give you the best job that you can do. But I also want the customer to have the best job that they want. I want it to be as beautiful as they can think of. And so I try to build that relationship every single day, and I try to keep those relationships as often as I can. So a lot of the people that still come in here, they come to Cava to have a coffee and to have a drink, not to buy anything. They just were driving down the street. We thought they'd have a coffee.
They missed you. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So the relationship isn't just fabricator designer, it's friends.
Right.
It's more than that. So when it comes to a long-term relationship, those are the things that matter to us. We want to make sure that that's the key that we try and focus on.
And that shows because you've been in business for such a long time, right? Like that just permeates. So, and I know it's overwhelming if someone hasn't done this, and we've only just kind of touched the tip of the iceberg of what is possible in terms of stone. And I think the key is not being intimidated and just reaching out to your local vendor, or if you live in Toronto area, hopefully it's Cava with Massimo. Then you can also from there talk about the edge detail and the different types of finishes, polished, leathered, mattes. Like you can
Yes.
that this is why your clients need designers. There are so many choices to be made. And then this is why we need our preferred vendors like you, Massimo, because you can have the same stone in different finishes and it looks completely different and has a completely different look to the space. And you're the person that can walk through and teach us and tell us all those things. Like sometimes you see the same material and you're like, that's the same one. One's leathered or honed or matte versus polished, and it's just ridiculously different.
Very much
There's
so.
yeah, there's so many things that are still a factor to consider when you're working with stone, which is why if you're thinking about it or want to get started, this is where you can learn, and this is all the things that you can do with it and really make your project stand out so you don't blend
Backlighting is fun.
with, oh my gosh, it's endless all the things you can do,
When you
but don't let
backlight a
that be
stone, it's like
overwhelming.
having two different stones.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that we've covered, like I said, just the bare minimum. So hopefully people are not feeling like it's still too much, because it's not. Once you get used to dealing with it, your projects will look amazing and you can start educating yourself. And if not, you can utilize someone like Massimo who can help you. But Massimo, can you tell everyone listening where they can find you, social media, websites, all the things, and I'll make sure it goes in the show notes.
We are Cava Surfaces at 136 Tycos Drive in Toronto. It's roughly Lawrence and Caledonia area. We will be also, like I said earlier, opening up an office in Boca Raton. That's TBD in regards to date as to when that will be open. But we have already, from Toronto, have been shipping to all over the US and Canada as well. So that's already on the go. At Cava Surfaces is our company website. At Massimo D as in David Ferrara is my own personal Instagram. And yeah, absolutely. If you come in here, whether it's myself, which obviously I'm here and always happy to help, or any one of my coworkers who are incredible at what they do, we're here. We're ready to make more friends. So absolutely happy.
And check out the Cava Instagram, because the things you have done with stone will wow people, will
Yeah.
really inspire and wow people without a doubt, because it's beautiful. Beautiful.
And our website. We try to we've geared it to be able to allow, like, our photographs are high quality HD photos, so that if a designer needs to pull a slab from from our website, you have a good quality photo to be able to do your renderings. So
Oh,
that it's
amazing.
and we have front view, side view, we have a little video, we have a close up. So it gives you a very, very good impression as to what you're selecting. Yes, photographs are always a little deceiving. You need to come in and see them in person, but it sort of narrows things down quite a bit when you have that.
Absolutely. Good tip. Forgot about that. It's a great tip. Well, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate your time and effort with us today. And I hope that
I
we've
always love
inspired
spending
some
time with you.
other designers to reach out and start using stone in their projects in a different way.
Hope so. My pleasure. Happy to help in any way I can.